Hey guys, today I want to go and give you guys an in-depth guide in sequence breaking for Asura Breaker. Now, what is sequence breaking, you might ask? Sequence breaking is when you start your flurry of punches, right? And you stop somewhere in the middle, and then you start punching again, thereby giving you two of these Asura uppercuts. This little Asura finisher right there, right? That little last punch that you do, that does extra damage compared to your normal flurry of punches. And if you do it at the right time, it'll actually increase the amount of damage that you do overall in that one window of your Asura identity. So what's the reason for this? Well, it's not just because you do two of those Asura finishers that it increases damage. No, just doing that willy-nilly won't actually increase your damage. But when you do it at just the right timing, it'll increase your damage by around 12% at the minimum. I believe that's something what Saint said in his Asura video. And how does it increase this damage? Well, I think first we need to understand fundamentally how the Asura meter works. So when you press Z and you go into your punches, right? It will keep punching, and the meter will keep draining. Now, the Asura punches consist of a flurry of attacks. And this flurry of attacks, I believe, is like 50-something punches or something like that. And after that 50-something punches, if you're pressing the button again and you still have meter, it'll go into another set of punches until you don't have meter anymore, or if you let go, and in both of those cases, it'll do the Asura finisher. Now, the interesting part about Asura is that even if you have just a little bit of meter left, right, and you can start your Asura flurry, you can still do that full 50-something punches into finisher no matter how much meter you have. Even if you have no meter, right? As long as you started that flurry of punches, even if you run out of meter in the middle, it'll still continue those punches all the way to the end and do the Asura finisher. And that is, in essence, how you're able to do more damage with sequence breaking, because you end up doing an extra flurry of your Asura punches and getting an extra finisher even after the meter is gone. So let me show you for comparison, right? Here is how much damage we do with just normal, just pressing the attack and auto attacking, right? Right here, boom, about 238 million. And this is pretty consistent because we are a full crit class. We have 100% crit rate, as we can see here. This is what happens when you press it just regularly. Now here's what happens when you do your Asura finisher, or sequence breaking. Boom, 268 million damage right there. So we increased our damage by 30 million damage. That's not a small number, right? And that's because, again, we started inputting a second flurry of attacks right as the meter was gone, and we had to do that entire flurry even when the meter was empty and we got that extra finisher. So in essence, you get an extra Asura flurry and finisher with your meter. Every 1 bar, you get an extra finisher, and that's going to increase your damage overall. And this is really important, right? I think this is really important to anybody who's trying to min-max their Asura gameplay and try to do as much damage as possible. So how do you do this, right? Well, first, before we even go into it, you need to be clicking on your mouse button, or using a macro or whatever, right? You need to be clicking your auto attack button as opposed to holding it down. When you just hold it down, it is a slower punch, and as a result, this sequence breaking won't work. So you do need to be clicking on your mouse button consistently for your auto attacks, or your C button, and making it so that the attacks come out faster. You can't hold it down. So what you need to do is, as you're clicking, as you're doing your Asura flurry, you need to let go of your mouse and your auto attacks around the 30% mark of your Asura meter. So when the Asura meter starts draining, when it's about 30% left, you let go and then start clicking auto attack quickly again. And then if you've done it right, you will get out another set of Asura flurry before your meter goes away. So I'm going to show this right here, right? 30%. Let go. Input again. Boom. 270 mil damage right there. So that's how you do it, right? Around 30% meter or so, you let go, and then you start auto attacking again. Then by the time you have like a little bit of your meter left, your punches will start again, and you'll get that extra finisher and get that extra damage. So that's how you do it. Basically, when the meter is around 30% or so, let go, and then start auto attacking again. Let me demonstrate it here again. 30%, let go, and start punching again. Boom. 270. So that is how you do it. Now, here is another important thing you need to realize. As you're doing this, right, as you're doing your punches, doing your sequence breaking, it is very important that in the middle, you press your X button, or the defensive speculation or whatever. You have to do that because, unlike when you're doing just the regular punches, because you are getting that extra flurry in at the end, you are actually increasing the amount of time that you're punching for, and as a result, you don't actually have time at the end to keep up your adrenaline. Before your punches end, your adrenaline will disappear. So that's why you do need to make sure you save your X button for when you're doing this. That way you can upkeep adrenaline. That's a very, very, very important key to this. Now, the other thing that I do need to mention is that there is no reason for you to not attempt for this, because even if you mess up, you actually end up doing the same amount of damage as though you didn't even try for it. As we remember earlier, the amount of damage that you do, for my character at least, when I'm not going for sequence breaking was about 238 million, right? So I'm going to show you myself trying for this and messing it up, right? Doing that. And then you're going to see at the end of the day, I'm still doing 238, 239 million, right? The amount of damage that I do when I mess it up versus not even trying for it is exactly the same. So there's actually no reason for you to not attempt for it, because if you mess it up, you just do the same amount of damage as before. And if you actually hit it, then you do an increased amount of damage. It's actually just a win-win situation for you to do this. So I would recommend anybody who wants to take Asura Breaker seriously actually go and practice doing sequence breaking. Now, the last thing I do want to mention is I talked about earlier how you can let go at around 30% of your meter to get your sequence breaking, complete, right? To successfully do it. There are other times when you can do it. I think you can actually let go at around like 60% left or something like that, and it'll still do it. But I couldn't find that happening more consistently. But there are times when you can do it, and it'll still give you an extra attack. There you go. You see right there? I did it around like 60% there, and it still worked. I think 30% is the number that I feel the most comfortable with and feel like that's the most consistent for me. But there are other thresholds as well that, hopefully maybe you guys can find out, or you can try out and see if it works. Again, 30% is the guaranteed for me. 60% seems like it works as well sometimes, but I'm not sure if it's very consistent. So go ahead, guys. Please go do sequence breaking. You are just getting free damage for doing it, even if you mess up. So hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, please let me know down in the comment section below. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, please remember to hit the like button, hit the sub button, ring the bell for notifications, and also I stream every single night on twitch.tv/MisoXshiro. So hopefully I see you guys on my stream, but if not, hopefully I see y'all on the next video. All right, guys, peace out.